Hi everyone, I hope everyone had a good week of training. In this weekly update I want to go over my week in general and also touch on a couple of food type things that I have been trying out with meal prep and things like that. So let's go through the week that I had, and hopefully I can try to remember all the things I did this week. But my beginning of the week started out with some higher rep squats. I believe it was 335 in my top set for 8 reps. I started at 315, then with the 325 and then 335 for those for sets of 8 with each of those weight with it. So those were higher reps, those were all high bar, and I don't believe I used a belt for those with those. And I remember those feeling good, and I remember looking back at the video for them and thinking that they were kind of slow, but that's kind of an issue with everything, is that I move a little too slow and methodical on the way up. Obviously on the way down that's not bad, but on the way up definitely would like to be more explosive with those, but it's also very high reps with that. In the middle of the week, I PR'd with front squats without a belt. I did 315 for 2 reps, which my previous best was 315 for 1 rep with a belt. With that, so I was very happy with how those moved. And second one was kind of a grind, but it still moved pretty well with that. Bench that day. So I did that front squat, and then I went and did some bench stuff, or maybe it was the next day, but I just remember the last time I benched, I did a couple sets of 2 at 275, and then I finished with a double at 280, and those moved relatively well with it, and I believe I did some push presses before those, so I was really happy with the fact that those were able to still move well after pre-fatiguing my shoulders with that, because then that would have, or it did, but more of the strain on my tricep area, or I guess on both my shoulders and triceps, since my shoulders were fatigued, and my triceps are the weak point of my bench, at least right now with it. So that, and then deadlifts, I had one day, the first day, my hip was kind of iffy, so I only did 1 top set, and I forget what it was, 400 something, and then today I did 465 for 2 sets of 3, and then a set of 6, which was like an AMRAP, and then I did a single with 405 to do a hook grip hold, which I want to do a little bit more, which was a bad decision to do at that time, because I did clean and jerks after, and my hook grip for the clean and jerks was just, it hurt really bad, since I did that 405 hold with it, and I forget how long I held it for, but it wasn't that extremely long, but it's definitely just fatigued and made my skin kind of extra crispy. I don't even know how to describe it. It just made my skin hurt and my thumb hurt when I was doing the hook grip for the other things, but I put some tape on it, and they were pretty good to go. I don't do enough with the clean and jerk stuff to really have to worry about my grip being an issue with it, since they are still very sub-maximal in terms of what I can deadlift with that. But when I did those clean and jerks, the deadlifts I did today, I did belted with them, and I used straps for everything except for that 405 hold and some lighter sets that I did, where I did some singles with the hook grip. But when I moved on to clean and jerks, I went up to 215 pounds for double, which my best ever for a clean and jerk is 225 for 1. With that, I guess it was a power clean with those. So I definitely still have a ton of potential with those, and just pure strength numbers. Especially with the clean, I definitely have room. I mean, once my jerk goes up, then obviously I will have to clean more in order to get up to that point where I'm clean and jerking whatever weight with it. But I definitely think I have more than 225 left in the tank with that. I also did some snatch work today, where I'm still kind of working on the same thing of waiting to extend longer with it. And one of the things I do enjoy doing, and I'll be sure to include one of these clips of what I did today in the video, of muscle snatches, and they're very, very good for me in particular, because if I misgroove a muscle snatch, it's just not going to go up with it. Even if it's a lighter weight, it's just going to be a lot harder if I'm not grooving it right. But if I'm weighting back more and using my body more so in the way that I should be with a snatch, then it pops right up, and then you can finish it really well, and it kind of cues me when I'm doing an actual snatch to get into that better position with it. But I still need to get back more and to be consistent with it, and to just get my legs into it. And it's really the same thing with cleans. The tendency for me is just to put it all into my back and my posterior chain, and just jerk it, hip thrust it back with it, which works to an extent, but obviously it's not the most efficient way to do that, and it won't lead to long-term success or to any sort of consistency within the movement of that. So it's something I'm working on as far as that goes. And basically this week went really well. I went heavy, more heavy than I was planning on later in the week with it. So next week I'm going to make an effort to do high reps for everything, and to not do a deload, but to just do high reps for everything. Because I have a tendency to get lazy and want to go heavy and want to do lower reps. I mean, that's the tendency for a lot of people, I think. When they're lifting, they want to set new PRs, and when I feel stronger and I know that I can set new PRs, it's really hard to hold back for a later date with those. It's like the front squat. I didn't have to go to 315. I knew I could do 315, but I just wanted to do it, and I got hyped up and did a double with it. It's more important for me to not let my ego take over, and to think of the long-term benefits of just continuing to add more and more volume with it. But at the same time, I do like making PRs, and it's not as if doing the sets like that aren't beneficial, because lifting heavy weights gets you better at lifting heavy weights with that. But I just don't want to put my hip and IT band in more of a compromising position and mess up my elbow. I just don't want my body to break down, because that's what happens with it, is that everything goes great, and then I start getting aches, and then they just don't go away with those. But I'm going to continue with the ibuprofen regimen that I've been on. I have found that's been extremely beneficial, and I'm also trying to do the fish oil as well twice a day with that. Really spacing that out, because in the past when I've taken 2 fish oil at the same time, it's upset my stomach quite a bit. But I find if it's spaced out, more than 12 hours, then I don't have that issue as far as that goes. And I did get some pre-workout at the Arnold. I'm not really using that. I much more prefer coffee, although I do like the taste of the pre-workout stuff. I almost wish it was like aminos or something, so I could just drink it, even though like aminos don't really do much of anything, if at all. I can't really be drinking pre-workout. I can't really just casually drink pre-workout all the time, otherwise I'll be hyped up all day and all night long with that. But yeah, that's really what it is as far as my training stuff goes. So if you have any thoughts or comments about any of that, you can leave those down below with it. I do apologize, my photocracy, I don't update that very well with it. I try to make sure it is every week. I at least do it once and get all my workouts in with that. So if you want to see a lot of the specifics, then you can go on there with it. The only thing you won't see is if, like today, I did some bicep curls and tricep extensions, as well as some pull downs. In order for me to want to do accessories, I don't want to have to track them and think about them. I just want to go and do them like in a bodybuilding style of just trying to just do a bunch until I get fatigued, and then moving on to something else with them. So I'm not really worried about the particular weights. I'm just trying to do sets of 5 or whatever with them, and then just kind of work as heavy as I can, and then just going by feel with them a lot with them. But I find that's actually easier for me to do, because I go through them quicker, more easy to motivate myself to do them, so I do them more, so I'm going to get more of the benefit with it. So it's better than not doing them. I feel maybe it's not the most optimal way, but I could really care less how much I can bicep curl or how much I can do with pull downs with it. But anywho, so let's move on, or I don't know how to transition, but I'm going to move on to talking about some of the meal prep stuff that I've been trying to do. So Jake from NEF Fitness, when he left to go back to Florida, he left me a bunch of his Tupperware containers, the little ones. If you watch any of his videos, or his recent ones with Arnold, you may have seen them pop in and out. I'm not sure if he had them in there. I feel like he did at some point, because he was eating all the time there. And I kind of took a page from his playbook, and I was like, I'm just going to try meal prepping. And it wasn't for dinner originally, it was for lunch at school. So I'm like, I'm going to just make my lunches for school, so I'm just not having a chicken sandwich every day and having the same things. I can actually have a hot lunch and get some extra rice and throw some flaxseed, but make it more healthy than just a chicken sandwich, piece of fruit, some vegetables, and just kind of a generic type food with that. So I did that, and what I found is I actually, when I got home from working out late, that I would just like, I can just use one of these lunches and then eat them for dinner with it. So I ended up meal prepping twice. I did some on Sunday as well as on Thursday, because I ate all the meals with it. But it's something that I definitely want to do, and just have simple things in there, because I had chicken, rice, and vegetables, and also beans in one. Yes, chicken and animal product, because I'm a horrible person. But with that, and I think sometimes I put a piece of cheese with it. in there as well, just to give it, because I like cheese and it has a little bit of protein in it as well, but just kind of have a different variant of meals. And I think this upcoming week I'll use chicken for all of them, use kind of the same ingredients but have some with cheese or without cheese, or just kind of try to vary things. So I have some spices that I can use. I also have some honey mustard and some barbecue sauce that I can try using, so kind of vary those up. But I definitely want to use, like, make a lot of those meals because it's very convenient to come home at night from working out, from school, and being tired and not having to cook, and just being able to get a meal that I like cooked earlier and it's healthy anyway. And then I can always have that, because the hardest part is the cooking the chicken and rice if I ever want to have it, because it takes so long to do it, since you have to like boil the rice and you have to thaw out the chicken and stuff. So if I have it just like already cooked there, even if I just want to throw it in the stove and kind of add a couple more things and then recook it, it takes a lot less time. Since you're basically just reheating it on the stove. So I can either do that or within the microwave, but I'm finding that's a really convenient thing, especially because then I have my lunch in the morning. I don't have to worry about making a lunch in the morning, and then I don't have to worry about making dinner at night if I don't feel like it. Now I can still make dinner if I do feel like it. And it's I don't really know, like, in an overall week's time if I'm saving time, but I do feel less stressed in the morning because I can just focus on eating breakfast, getting ready, and then just going. It's one less thing I have to worry about in the morning and late at night, which are the two times, obviously, like, you're not really awake in the morning and you're tired at night, so it's the hard times to make food with that, and I can focus on other things because generally speaking, obviously, well, of course I would have more time on the weekends to do various things like that, and I have time to, spend an hour. I don't even know if it would take that long, however long it takes to cook a bunch of chicken and to just meal prep. And honestly, it's not that difficult to do because you just kind of space it out between the meals, and then you just eat. I mean, it's almost just like eating little Chipotle bowls every day, and those are very convenient because then you have it jam-packed of different healthy things. So you're getting a lot of the fiber and nutrients and the protein and all that fun stuff, and it's really easy to cook once you're at school because I just thaw it out, or put it in the microwave for a minute and a half and then eat it, and then I actually have like a pretty good lunch with that. And I don't know, it's one of those things. It's it may go by the wayside, but I think it's something. It's one of those weird lazy things where I'm too lazy to cook my dinner every night, but I'm also too lazy to just not meal prep. I don't know. It's I probably will do it a lot just because I know I feel lazy at night and in the morning, and I end up just making really simple things for lunch if I don't. But yeah, I don't know. It's something with that. But if any of you would be interested in seeing how I go about doing the meal prep thing, or seeing what I put in one of the little food things, then I could always make a little quick video about that. That wouldn't be that big of a deal, and I would never do a day of eating or anything like that, but I could do like a 5-minute video about what I do for meal prepping and what I throw into each individual thing. With that, so if that's something you're interested in, you could leave that down below, and that's something I can look into showing you all, seeing how that could be a beneficial thing for some people, especially if they're tracking macros. You can get really particular with each one. I just kind of eyeball it since I'm not really worried about the particulars, since I know I'm hitting all my macros, since I'm just eating a lot of food with it. I'm not cutting or anything. Once I start cutting it, maybe that's something I could look into more, getting more precise with those, but now it's just like making sure that the lid can fit on with each one of them. Yeah, so that's I think it's about it that I wanted to cover in this video. So if you have any thoughts or comments, or any ideas, or if you want to see the food video, you can leave those thoughts down below. And yeah, so as always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.